Hello, and welcome to the Knitting with Cat Hair podcast. My name is Nikki, also known as Knitting with Cat Hair on Instagram and Cat Hair Knitting on Ravelry. I am coming to you from Sudbury, Ontario, Canada, where I live with my partner, our 2 daughters, and our 5 cats. So welcome back to all returning viewers, and a big welcome to all new viewers. This is primarily a knitting podcast, although I do get into some of the other crafts I'm delving into at the time, such as cross stitch and crochet. So yeah, welcome. I hope everyone's doing well. Not too much to report over here. I think we're in phase 3 of reopening the province, so a lot more businesses are open now, and just trucking forward, I guess. Anyways, I'm going to start off this podcast episode with the announcement of the giveaway winner. So last podcast I mentioned I would be giving away, in celebration of my 10th episode, a skein of Ancient Arts Socknado yarn in the colorway Caribbean Getaway, and my prompt was, where would you like to get away if you could? So I used a random comment picker, commentpicker.com, and I will now pop in a screenshot of the winner. So congratulations, Lori Boucher. You are the grand prize winner of the 10th episode giveaway. I will be getting that prize to you as soon as possible. And full disclosure, I swear this was totally a random, that's why I showed this screenshot. Lori Boucher happens to be my mom. So yeah. Anyways, I'm sure there'll be more giveaways in the future as well. So yeah, Mom, I'll be getting you that skein of yarn next time I see you. Okay, so moving on, I don't have any finished objects for today, and I'm not wearing any hand knits, but I do have a hoe. So I did finish my first Blomst sock. So this is a pattern by Jessica Gore. I'm using it out of Laine issue 2, and I'm knitting it up out of Hedgehog Fibers sock in the colorway Dusk. And this is my first time doing a toe-up sock. So I used Judy's Magic Cast On to get started, and then I used Jenny's Super Stretchy Bind Off, which is the first time I've ever done that. Super simple, for the cuff, just to make it a little more stretchy so it's not super tight on your calf. Yeah, so I really, really enjoyed this. It's got that beautiful lace detailing up both sides. And it's got some garter stitch up the middle. And then it's just a simple heel flapping gusset, but there's no slip stitch or anything. It was just stockinette, just plain. That's the first time I've done that. I'm not sure how well that's going to wear, but we'll see, right? So really enjoyed it. The fit is phenomenal. Out of all the socks I've ever knit, this one is the one that fits me the best. And it was just funny because I was a little skeptical, given that it was my first time knitting a toe-up sock. And I wasn't sure how to measure properly, but it turned out perfectly. I guess I lucked out. So anyways, I'm looking forward to casting on the second one and getting that one going. And I'll just show you the cake real quick. Whoops, it's getting a bit messy here. This is the color. It's Dusk. It's a bunch of pinks and purples, really pretty. And it's a 90% merino, 10% nylon. And I'm knitting that up, my socks up on my standard US 1 2.25 millimeter needles. Chowgu, red lace in the round, I guess. Magic loop is the word. And that's housed in my Needlecrafts bag for 2 at a time sock knitting. Although I'm not doing it 2 at a time, but I will be soon. Okay, moving on. So housed in my bag that my mom brought me back from Ecuador is my Threadbare top. So again, I'll just show you a picture of what the finished piece looks like. And this is a pattern by Two of Wands, but I got the kit through We Are Knitters. And I'm knitting it up using 2 strands of the cotton, We Are Knitters the cotton, in the colorway Sand. And the 2 strands are held together. And it's knit up on these very large, I think US 11 needles. Okay, so this is where I'm at now. Hopefully you guys can see this. I would have been much further along, but I made a mistake and I had to rip back pretty much this whole thing. So I would have been double. I probably would have been done the first panel. But, you know, mistakes happen. Anyways, as I explained, the pattern, although I looked at it, it says it's for intermediate knitters. I would say so far it's been pretty beginner friendly. I don't know if it's because of the seaming that makes it a little more tricky, but I'm finding it really simple. It's a lot of stockinette garter, and then there's some, do they call them drop stitches, which is essentially you just, when you're knitting, you wrap the yarn twice around instead of once. And then on the next row back, you just knit and drop the remainder of the stitch. And it creates kind of like creates a loop. So I can show you. It creates this. So, I mean, I don't find that overly complicated. But I'm also not a beginner knitter, so maybe I'm biased. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. So like I said, basically you knit up 2 panels. So they're going to be the exact same. So 2 rectangles essentially. And then you just seam up the sides and seam up the shoulders. And I did read ahead and I did notice that you do have to pick up some stitches along the armhole. And then you create just a little bit of a ribbing around the arms to create a bit of a sleeve, I guess. And I don't know, maybe that's a bit tricky for beginners too. I'm not sure. But anyways, yeah, looking forward to finishing it so I can wear it. Okay, and the weather cooled off a bit. So I did pick up 2 of my wool sweaters and start working on them again. I'm not done, and I've been alternating. So I'm on Sleeve Island for both sweaters. Oh, and I'm in the middle of a row. That's great. But so I picked up my daughter's So Faded Pint size. Whoops. So this is the sweater here. And I did finish the first sleeve. It looks a little short. The sleeve looks a little short, but it is superwash. I'm assuming it's going to stretch. And my daughter tried it on and it was just a smidgen too short, so I think it'll be fine once it stretches. And I've started the second sleeve here. So this is a pattern by Andrea Mowry, and I'm knitting this up in mostly scraps, leftover yarns. So this is Knit Picks Hawthorn, in the colorway Poseidon. This next colorway is a Hedgehog Fibers skinny single in the colorway Fly. This one with the pinks and purples is Hedgehog Fibers skinny singles Down by the River. Yeah. And this one's another Hedgehog Fiber skinny singles, and it is the colorway Heyday or Genie. I can't remember. They're both very similar. I think it's Heyday. And then finally, my daughter changed her mind and wanted purple at the end. It was supposed to be blue. Purple doesn't blend in quite nearly as nicely, but she wanted it. So this is a Hedgehog Fibers sock, and the colorway is totally escaping me right now. But anyways, all of my project notes can be found on Ravelry. Yeah, unfortunately, I know most, like some people aren't using Ravelry right now. But you know, so what I'll do is I'll look up the colorway and I'll put a little caption in here so you can find out what the colorway is. And I am knitting this up on US, I think 4s. Yes, 4s for the body and 2 for the ribbing. So I did go down a couple sizes because I know that the first time I knit this is the second time I've knit this sweater for my daughter. The first time the gauge was very loose and it was just too holey. So this is a little tighter. And that's housed in my Jezebel B bag that I love. Yeah, so hopefully I'll have that one done for next podcast. No promises though. And then I did pick up my Felix Pullover, and that is housed in another of my Needlecrafts bags. This is her Fox bag. And again, all links to shops and things that I mentioned will be found down below. Okay, so front. This is the Felix Pullover. You can see that. And I am done the body. I'd finished it before. But I am finished the first sleeve as well. There we go. First sleeve, still have to weave in ends. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting this done. So I just have the second sleeve to go. And then I'll be finished. I'll need a wash and a block of it. I've tried it on. It's a little short, so I'm gonna see how things turn out after I wash and block it. Hopefully it's gonna stretch a bit, and if it doesn't, I may need to rip back the ribbing and just add a bit of length to it. I definitely have enough yarn. I think I still have, yeah, I'm gonna have at least one full ball of yarn left, so I'm good there. And I am knitting this up out of Michell Baby Suri Roving. And as I mentioned, there's no colorway name, it's just a number. It's RJ1548. And this is a combination of 40% Baby Suri alpaca, 40% merino, and 20% silk. And as I mentioned, the halo is delightful on this yarn, and it's very soft. It's going to be so lovely for winter. And this yarn was brought back to me by my mom from Ecuador. And I am knitting it up on size US 8 Chaogu needles. Yeah, so almost done that one. If I can get my butt in gear, I might have 2 finished objects for next podcast. And then I can cast some new things on. I am eyeing a few things. Yeah, so in terms of, I think that's it for my my works in progress. So I'll just move on to some of the things that I'm considering casting on once I'm done my sweaters, and then I'll go to stash acquisitions. So yeah, I'm really digging all the ranunculuses that I'm seeing on Instagram, sorry. And I've had my eye on that pattern for quite some time, and it seems so universal, right? Like you can use any weight of yarn. And my understanding is the pattern is just one size, and you just alter it based on the weight of yarn that you're using, and of course the needle size that you choose. So I'm really interested in trying that out. And I have this lovely what is it? I think it's alpaca cotton yarn from Illimani. It's called Sabri, yeah. That my mom had picked up for me. I think it was either a birthday or Christmas present a few years ago, and I've been trying to find the perfect project to use it with, and I think the ranunculus would be lovely. So this yarn is a lace Is it lace? No, it's a light fingering weight. Sorry. Alpaca fuzz. Okay. So yeah, it's a bit of a lightweight yarn. So it'd be really nice for, I think, for summer. It'd be pretty lacy looking. So I'd definitely have to wear a tank top underneath, or yeah. Or I could hold them double. I don't know how that would work. I don't know, something to play around with. Anyways, that's one thing I have my eye on. And then of course I mentioned that I wanted to make a boxy, not the worsted, the fingering weight boxy by Joji Locatelli. And I have some nice lichen and lace. I have 2 sweater quantities of lichen and lace yarn. One in kind of like a sandy color, can't remember the name. And the other one I think is called Beach Glass. And it's like this like muted tealy turquoisey color. It's really pretty. So that's another option. And then of course I bought all that yarn from Brooklyn Tweed to make the brochet dress, which I'm still debating, because not only will it take me a long time because it's fingering weight and it's a dress, but I'm just thinking of the practicality of it. It's going to be pretty warm. I wouldn't be wearing it in summer. So it'd be more like a winter dress, I guess. But the colors I bought are kind of reminiscent of summer. I don't know. Anyways, I'll figure it out. So yeah, you know what? I would love to hear what you guys are thinking of making or working on right now. If you want to leave a comment down below. I always love reading comments and hearing what everyone's up to. But yeah, I'll move on to stash acquisitions. There's not a ton, but I had ordered some yarn from Sweet Skein of Mine, which is a company based out of New Brunswick, Fredericton. Actually, it says right on the label, Fredericton, New Brunswick in Canada. And she was having a sale in honor of the graduation of her daughter, I believe. So I took that opportunity to order 2 skeins of sock yarn. So I got, I'll show you this one first. This one, isn't it so beautiful? I don't know, I'm on a peach kick for some reason. It's called Cold Cheeks, and it is a 75-25 merino nylon blend, and it's just so pretty. I could just see that making like some gorgeous summer socks, lacy summer socks. And then the second skein I got is called Blush. I don't know if you can tell, but this one's a little different. So it's definitely got a higher twist on it. And it's a BFL high twist. So it's 80-20 superwash BFL nylon 2-ply. So yeah, again, peachy. This one's a little more muted peach. Almost looks like a naturally dyed peach. It's really pretty. And again, I think it's destined to be a pair of socks as well. I don't know. I'm on a sock kick. What can I say? Socks are my jam, and I never thought they would be. I was not a sock knitter like a year ago at all. And now it's like I can't get enough. I just want to knit all the socks. Yeah. So I guess that is about it for the crafty content. I'm going to move into some life stuff. There's not a ton to talk about. Things have been pretty quiet around here, but the most excitement I've had over the past 2 weeks was rescuing a squirrel. And I don't know if it's the same squirrel, but rescuing a squirrel 3 times from our bird feeder. So story behind this is I have one of those larger, actually it's right behind me. Anyways, it's a larger bird feeder, but between the pigeons and the raccoons, they have managed to bust the roof. So the roof, it was like this, and now it's like hanging. One piece is hanging off and broken in half. So there's like 1 1/4 pieces left. So what happens is when the seeds get low, I guess a squirrel climbs in there to get the remaining seeds at the bottom. And another squirrel will come along, and then that squirrel will be essentially trapped because it won't be able to get out. Because it's freaking out Well, the other one is, oh God. Anyways, what happened is I was in my house. I heard incessant squirrel chirping. So red squirrels can be very loud and chatty, and they seem to get angry at everything and everyone. So I heard, you know, this incessant chatter, and I ran to my window to see what was happening, and I couldn't see anything. Usually it means there's like a random cat in our backyard or something like that, and I'll go shoo it away. So, you know, I went outside to look around and make sure there weren't any cats. Didn't see anything. And then when I looked at the squirrel in the tree, I saw the feeder, and I saw a squirrel inside of the feeder. So it was freaking out because there was a squirrel in the feeder, and they get very territorial. Anyways, it was hilarious. So I had to shoo the one squirrel away, take the feeder down, and open up. There's like pieces of plastic that come out, I guess the clear parts on either side of the feeder. I just pulled it out, and the other one just booted it away. But that's happened 3 times now. It's getting a little ridiculous. And the one time there wasn't even another squirrel involved. So I don't know if they're getting trapped in there in the middle, because in between there's like a bar of wood, and I don't know if they get in and then they figure they can't get back out. I don't know. Or maybe they're just happy to be in there. Maybe I'm not rescuing them at all. I don't know, but that's my excitement for the last 2 weeks. That's happened 3 times. And did I already mention that my last remaining carrot got eaten by something? Ugh, we had high hopes for that carrot. It's very sad. My tomato plants are still going. These are the ones that I planted from seeds from a tomato I was eating because I couldn't get any seeds at the time. So my tomato plants are getting huge, but there's no flowers on them. So I'm not getting any tomatoes. I don't know if they're ever gonna flower. It just seems like I should have had some by now. I know my mom's are flowering, so I don't know what's going on there, but they're getting really big. Oh, I forgot to mention, we have monarch butterflies. So a few years ago, I planted some milkweed, and I created like a pollinator garden in our front yard to help the monarchs, which are currently listed as a special concern species in Ontario, in our province. And they're considering listing them as either threatened or endangered federally, so in Canada. So they are a species at risk, and to encourage and to assist them, I planted a bunch of milkweed, which is, if you don't know, is the only plant that their caterpillars will eat. So it's very important to the life cycle of the monarch butterfly. So I planted some. It didn't come up right away, and then a year later I noticed it was starting to come up, which was great. And when I looked, there were a bunch of little teeny tiny caterpillars all over it, monarch caterpillars, and you can tell them because they're white and they have like black stripes, black and yellow stripes. Yeah, they're black and yellow. So yeah, that was all exciting. And the first year we ended up, you know, I was monitoring the caterpillars, and then all of a sudden they started dying off, and I don't know what was happening. So another batch came around. I guess a monarch flew by, laid some eggs, and another batch came around. So we took them inside. I bought one of those, I don't know, they're to raise monarch butterflies. It's just like a pop-up kind of cage essentially, but it's made out of like nylon. So yeah, you just put the caterpillars in there. You have to make sure that they have a frequent supply of milkweed leaves. And then they will do their whole chrysalis thing and turn into a butterfly, and then you just carry the cage out and open it up, and out they fly. So we did that one year, and then I read an article about how moving the chrysalises or moving the caterpillars messes with their navigation. So if you know anything about the monarch butterfly life cycle, in Canada, they fly here from Mexico where they overwinter. They come here, they lay their eggs, and then those butterflies die. And then the butterflies that are raised here will fly back to Mexico over winter, and then come back again next year to complete the life cycle. So something about moving them messes with their navigation and they don't know where to fly or how to get back. So for the last 2 years, so last year and this year, I have not been taking them inside. I've been just letting them do their thing and hoping that they do okay. But I'll say this year, I have only found 2 caterpillars. Usually we'd see this would be the second batch, but the weather was horrible. Like we had snow in what, mid-May? Late May? I don't know. We had snow late. Things were totally messed up. So I'm just glad to have 2 caterpillars. So in the beginning, in my intro to this video, if you can't tell, that's what that little thing is I'm showing at the very beginning is a little teeny tiny monarch caterpillar. So yeah, that's about it for us. Yeah, haven't done much. Still working. Yeah. Nothing really new to report. So anyways, I hope everyone is doing well. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like and subscribe. And I look forward to talking with you guys in 2 weeks. Bye.